Hey Team Quest, man, hope that you guys are doing well. I wanted to reach out to you guys really quick and do something similar that I did last week and really just kind of give you a sneak peek and kind of a preview of what I'll be talking about on Sunday morning in week 2 of Dangerous Prayers. If you didn't see Dangerous Prayers 1, make sure you go to the Quest YouTube page and check that out. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek into what I'm working on for this Sunday, and then also, if you'll stick till the end of this video, I'll share with you kind of some thoughts about when we are coming back to Team Quest as normal, because we are coming back and very soon. So, but one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is, one of the frustrations that I have often, and I know a lot of people have when it comes to praying, and particularly this prayer of basically asking God to show us what to do, or, you can word that however you want. God, your will be done. Show me your will, God, tell me what you want me to do, speak to me, all those different things. And one of the things that I'm going to mention this Sunday that you'll hear if you watch it is the practicing the art of being willing to hear God's will. Now, I know that sounds kind of churchy and wordy, but here's what I mean by that. A lot of times I think when we come to God and we want God to reveal his will to us, or we want God to show us what to do, or anything in that same realm, if we're honest, a lot of times we've kind of already made up our mind about what we're going to do, or we've even taken some steps in that direction. And what we're really saying is, hey, God, stop me if you don't want me to do this. Or, hey, God, I'm now in a situation because I made a decision without seeking your will first, and now I'm in some heat and I'm in some trouble, and your will be done. Get me out of this. And so there's a story that I'm going to share on Sunday about Noah. Noah recently came to me and he said that he wanted to sell his Xbox, which was very shocking to me, because if you know an 11-year-old boy or my son, you know how much they love, video games. And so when he said that he wanted to sell his Xbox, I immediately was kind of shocked by that. And he wanted to sell his Xbox so that he could buy this scooter thing. And as a dad, I could kind of see beyond that. And I could see how we would sell his Xbox, and then he would get his scooter and he would have it for 2 days, and then he would be bored with it, and then he'd regret ever selling his scooter. And so as a dad, I came up with this idea. I was like, hey, I'm going to take your Xbox for 2 weeks. I'll put it in my closet. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you still want to sell it, then great, we'll sell it. But what this will do is, if 2 weeks goes by and you're like, you know what, I really don't want that scooter anymore, good news is we didn't get rid of your Xbox, you still have it. Well, he fought me on this thing. He was like, Dad, I'm sure I want to sell it. Go ahead and sell it. I don't need to do this. And he was very closed-minded. He was not willing to hear my side of this thing. Even though I had a bigger picture, and he just fought me on it. And so ultimately I said, no, this is what we're going to do. And he didn't like it. And next day rolls around. He's like, Dad, I still want the scooter. I haven't played Xbox all day. I feel fine. I want to sell it. And I wouldn't let him. Then the next day comes by. Dad, I still want to sell my Xbox. Wouldn't let him. So this goes on for a few days. He's very closed-minded. He's not willing to hear me out. Well, after about 3 or 4 days, he comes back to me and he's like, hey, Dad, I'm kind of over the scooter thing. I want my Xbox back. And I was like, hey, sorry, I sold it. And he was like, I told him, I was like, I'm just kidding, I didn't sell it. But do you see what I was doing here? And he was like, yeah, I get it now. And so I think in some ways, and that may be kind of a loose illustration, but I think in some ways it's kind of how we approach God when we ask God to reveal his ways to us, or to tell us what to do and things like that. We kind of have this closed mind. And so I just want to encourage you, man, be willing and open-minded to hear what he has. And honestly, a lot of times what's going to happen is, he may lead you or prompt you, or he may speak through somebody, he may speak through his word, and it's not going to make sense. And it's going to be like, man, I feel like this way would be better. Noah's like, this way would be so much better. And it may take some time, but on the other side of things, you're going to realize that God's will is always better. And here's some comforting news with that. We don't always have to like it. We don't always have to agree with it, but God's will is always to draw his people closer to him. It's never to push them further away. But sometimes in order to draw us closer to him, it means that he needs to work on us and mold us and shape us and work on some things. And that's uncomfortable, but just take comfort in knowing that anytime you pray, God, your will be done, his will is always to draw you closer to him. Team Quest, I love you guys. We are looking at opening back up on, it looks like July 5th, and we'll be able to meet boom, boom, boom pretty regularly. I know there was some talk about us possibly meeting in June, but just because of some other things that are going on, schedule wise and just things like that, it didn't make sense for us to only be able to meet once or twice in June and then have all these breaks, and it just wasn't going to make sense. So bear with us. Keep connected. Make sure you're connected with your leaders. I know several are meeting in person in small group capacities and things like that. But just know we're coming back, and we're shooting right now for July 5th. We've already got plans in place for that. And so hope to see you guys Sunday. If you're not able to come up there Sunday for Big Church, man, make sure you tune online, comment, let me know that you're watching, and we'll talk to you later. Love you guys. See you.